Hey, what's good, y'all? It's Baltimore's own Butch Dawson, aka Swamp Boy, and you watching Grooverelly, bitch. I've been making music for a minute, like since I want to say like early middle school, but I've been taking it serious and like when I got out of high school, 18, you know what I'm saying? And I'm 26 now, so that makes it what, like 8-9 years or some shit like that. So the swamp is basically like what I call the trenches. I come from West Baltimore, from like a part of that area, like the 1800 block of Pennsylvania Avenue and Lawrence Street and Division Street, and that's just like what I could call it, like, to my best description. The swamps, like, that's just how I feel. It's like, it's dirty, it's like everything is like not kind of like built, it's just shit just there, some shit is just falling apart. Well, like, just for the fact, like, my pops, he was making music. Like, my pops, he was like a very popular artist, like way back in the day, like early 2000s and shit like that. So like he was like locally known in Baltimore. And my mother, she was just like, you know, regular woman in Baltimore and shit like that. But you know, she was like listening to different types of music. So I growing up just listening to different kinds of shit, and I guess that allowed me to just like move forward as far as like, you know, just listening to different type of genres and kind of like shaping like my taste in music. I look at all my music like I'm a project type of artist, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just you know, just put music out. Like, I'm big on like a project. Like, when I was in school, like, that's all I like doing is like project type shit. So, you know, I make the songs and then I like to build everything around it. So with me, like, I feel as though like I'm an artist at the end of the day. And when you go into an artist's house, like, the artist got paintings like all over the place. He got like paintings that's not done. You know what I'm saying? He got like paintings that's like little collabs and shit like that. Then, you know, he got his like masterpieces on the wall. And that's how like Swamp Boy, that's what like Swamp Boy was to me. Like, that was my baby, you know what I'm saying? And I worked on it and I put a lot of like time and effort into it. So like that's like one of like my projects that's, you know, it just goes down in history, and a lot of people look at that project as like, you know, my foot in the door, like debut projects. Well, it took me 3 years, but it wasn't like the music, it was just like the impact, you know what I'm saying? Like, throughout the 3 years, I was making all this shit, and even like before I dropped it, like 2 months before, I was still like just making, you know, songs and stuff like that. But most importantly, it was just about the impact and how like I wanted it to drop, and what I was trying to do with my rollout was just took a lot of like planning and took a lot of time, took a lot of money. And, you know, you gotta have patience with that, you know what I'm saying? And with me, I didn't want to rush good work, you know what I'm saying? You can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, the music don't mean shit if the impact is not there, you know what I'm saying? You can have like good quality song or whatever the case may be, but if you're not out doing the work behind the scenes or doing, you know, the business side, whatever you gotta do, then the impact is not gonna be there, and it's just, you know, it's just nothing. It's about how the people perceive it and how you gonna make these non-believers a believer. That's what this shit is all about, you know what I'm saying? Tell your own story. Like, there's a lot of kids like me who, growing up, and you could be from a certain place and these people won't accept you because they just can't understand it. And with misunderstanding comes a whole lot of things like hate or like, you know what I'm saying, unacceptance. And, you know, people or artists like me, you know, need to tell their story, or like they need to tell that juxtaposition because it's significant. Like with me, I come from West Baltimore. You know what I'm saying, it's wild over there, but like I've managed to, you know, fuck with, you know, all the art kids like around here, and I just don't want to not only just represent like my hood, but represent, you know, my whole city. So I want to be an example for people who can't see that or think, you know, that's not possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it definitely is possible, and if it's gonna be anybody, you know, I would want it to be me to, you know, lead that way and show people that, like, you know, it don't matter who you are, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can still be able to tell your story, and people gonna vibe with it, people gonna rock with it, you know? I produced mostly, like, the whole project. I didn't produce 2 songs on it, and that was Liberation and Division Street Blues. That's a part of, like, the Butch Dawson brand. Like, it's almost like on some band shit, like, the band, like, make the beats, like, it's not like the band's, you know, rapping on another, like, or, you know, doing their music on another, like, beat or some shit like that. So, Feel Nobody, we once I made that, they was just like, yeah, we gotta do a video to this. But that was directed by a friend of mine named Jeffrey Retberg. He be, like, doing shit for House of Cards. And so we had a good relationship, like, for a while before we even shot that video, because he been shooting, like, other videos for me. But with Feel Nobody, like, we put a lot of, like, time and money and shit into it, and, like, I basically was like, came up with the whole idea, and he, like, added a couple things in there, and I just, like, gave him kind of, like, the mood and the references of, like, what I wanted with the video. And so, like, that shit came to life. And with the Riding Round video, yeah, my homie Felix, like, we sat down and basically put that concept together, and that shit was also fun, but it was crazy because I had to, like, get in that swamp water. It was cold as shit, and that shit was, like, it smelled like ass. That shit smelled like ass. Dude was like, I don't know, like, I just try to get into that concept and just make sure, like, the concept's real creative, and that I can be able to, like, create this world where, you know, people can put, like, the visual to the audio. So that's what I was trying to, like, I don't know, that's just my type of shit. Like, I just gotta get into that, like, kind of world, especially with the whole, like, Swamp Boy shit. It was just about, you know, just making that impact. So, you know, all that shit was important. Riding Round, the video Riding Round basically was just a bunch of concepts, like, from skits that I put together. And you know, it just all, like, made sense and build up into one. So, like, we just kind of, like, put those concepts together and created our storyline. And with that, it was just like, you know, you've been this kind of leader, and, like, you gotta be, like, desensitized to just, like, oh, hell yeah. You just gotta be desensitized to a lot of shit and a lot of situations that, you know, a lot of people can't handle. But when you in that position of power, you can't really fold, you know what I'm saying? You can't let shit just shock you. You can't just let shit fear you. And, you know, that was kind of like the role where I was just like, all right, you know, Butch from there, and somebody, you know, they out to get me. And, like, fuck it, like, the person got shot in the video, but I was still, like, you know, like, it was just normal and shit, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that was the message right there I got. So Butch Dawson, like, it came from, like, I was in the 7th grade in, like, this after school program. It was like a comic book after school program. And we was like, oh no, I just asked this shit. But the goal was to make a whole comic book by, like, the end of the program. So I teamed up with one of my classmates named James, and he was the author? Yeah, he was the author, I was the illustrator, and we made, like, the names and, like, the weaknesses, the powers, like, the set and all that shit. And the villain was called Butch Dawson. And so, like, fast forward, like, back when I was, like, getting into this group called the Villains, I changed, like, my whole, like, I just rebranded myself, and then I was just like, Butch Dawson just came to life. Yeah, I'm a creative person. I be doing all types of multimedia shit, edited videos, a little bit of graphic design, just creative directing. That's, like, one of my things I like to do. Like, with me being a project person, I just, like, with all those skills, it allowed me to, like, get, like, real creative and focused, like, with my rollouts and shit like that.
So you did a lot of the actual editing and direction on this
I be
video.
doing every day, bro.
There wasn't anyone else? It was all you? All edit?
I mean, there's a couple people, like...
But you were mainly?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking dope, dude.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's really cool.
Yeah, I don't edit my music videos. I get some like the pros to do that. But as far as just like promotional videos and all the creative content, like that's me. I couldn't find nobody who made the beats that I wanted to get on. I was like rapping on YouTube beats and shit like that, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get this FL. I still use FL. I was just like, I'm gonna just learn this shit, learn it in 09, and I just try to like keep making my own beats and shit like that. And yeah, eventually I just got real good at it. But it helped me like create my sound and made it like more like broad as far as just like whatever I think about, I can really like execute that and make it come to life. Ain't just like I'm just rapping this verse chords. I want to like do all types of shit. I like structure the song all different ways, do different methods with it. You feel me?
You be producing for anybody else or really just on your own shit?
I mean, like I still be having beats on my computer, so like, and I be like sending them out to friends and shit. I ain't been making beats like that for a while because I've been just like working on some other shit. So like, I've been just trying to like, take that time. Well, I kind of retired right now. I'm gonna come back, but I'm planning some shit out at the end of the year, like another album project, and that's about it. I'm gonna just keep doing like a lot of like creative directing for friends and doing like some video shit, and I might drop like some shit here and there depending on like how I feel, but yeah, there's a lot of good shit coming soon, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like taking my time with everything and I'm letting the project soak in, and I mean, yeah, that's about it for real. It's like we planning a lot of shit, but also it's like it's been pretty unpredictable. Yeah, I'm just working on this new project, Jazz Star, probably gonna come out end of the year, something like that. If anybody like, know the sound, it's just like raw. It's like raw and hard, jazzy, and energy driven, punk, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm just working that shit out. Yeah, we got a couple shows coming up. I don't know when this is gonna come out, but I got a show 420, and I'm gonna have a couple shows in the summer for sure, but not anything to date. I be listening to a lot of jazz. Shit, put me on the spot. I just be listening to a lot of jazz and shit. Roy Ayers, Lonnie Liston Smith. I fuck with Jet Age of Tomorrow. Jet Age Tomorrow, like they was like a group that I was influenced by. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm not really influenced by nobody but myself. Jazz music like really inspired me to make shit. And Jet Age, I don't know if you know Jet Age, but he making like experimental, I would say don't inspire me. It's just like, just be making shit. For me, like when I listen to music and shit nowadays, or when artists drop projects, I don't even listen to it just for the fact to listen to it. Since I'm an artist now, like I listen to it in like so many different angles. It's just like, it's all fucked for me. You know what I'm saying? It's all fucked for my enjoyment. It just gotta be like a certain kind of vibe, and I be knowing like what's really gonna hit or not. Like, not saying it's gonna be a hit, but I know it's gonna, like, a lot of people don't understand that, like that jig or like that feel, like that vibe gotta catch. Like you can make you can know everything about like music, production and shit, make a robotronic ass beat, but it don't it just don't got no soul in it, you know? So you gotta like aim for that every time. Backwoods, or like backwoods, or it's like fucking the fronto, or like, I don't know, I just like smoking blunts. I don't like Swisher Sweets, so I don't want to get that universal, you know what I'm saying? Like those Swisher Sweets. I graduated from Dutch Masters, so I ain't nothing like cracking a Dutch master like a chocolate Dutch. It give you a different feel, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it gotta be the right leaf. That leaf gotta be nice. It can't be like real thin, light skin. Nah, I be fucking with shrooms like whenever they around and shit like that. Like, that shit is tight when you take them in the studio. I knocked out like 5 songs. One time I was on shrooms. I be smoking the weed, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the weed factor is just out of the picture because that's just every day. But when I get up, I like to be sober most of the times when I make music. It's Butch Dawson. I'm high as shit. Thank y'all Grooverelly for having me. Yeah, stay high, man. Keep being creative. That's it.